I've just watched the recorded boxing match between Andrew Flintoff and Richard Dawson, which took place, I believe, in Manchester at the end of 2012, so about a year and a half ago now. I had intended to upload a video about it then, but I never got round to it, so here it is now. I don't think Andrew Flintoff has had a fight since then. Just to give you a little bit of the background, why this fight is significant is that Andrew Flintoff is much better known as a cricketer for the England team. He's in his early 30s, I believe, early mid-30s. He's a very successful cricketer as far as I know. I don't follow cricket, but he's one of the most famous sportsmen in the country. So when he announced that he was going to make a transition from cricket to boxing, that got quite a lot of attention. I don't know anything really about Richard Dawson. He's an American fighter, but I don't know much about him. But basically this got a lot of attention and a lot of controversy. Andrew Flintoff faced a lot of slack for that. A lot of people from the boxing world were saying, oh, what's a cricketer doing fighting, he's got no right to do this, etc. There was a lot of ridicule, and they said that the fight was a joke. My own stance on it as a boxing fan is they have no right to tell an adult who has been certified by the British Boxing Board of Control what he can't do. I think that's odious to try and control someone's life like that, someone else's life like that. This is a free country, and people should be allowed to pursue their capabilities as much as they can legally. So as far as I'm concerned, the British Boxing Board of Control saw that he was fit enough to take part in this fight. He trained for it, I believe, with Barry McGuigan, who's former world champion, or at least a very accomplished fighter. So the idea that he shouldn't be allowed to do it is just stupid. I can understand that argument if someone's really got a serious health problem, or maybe they're using it for the wrong means. I don't know, an unlicensed fight, something like that. But this was a licensed fight by the British Boxing Board of Control, and he trained for it. Whether you think he's a good fighter or not really isn't the point. The point here is about freedom of opportunity. And the implications are actually much wider than Freddie. His name is Andrew Flintoff, for those who don't know. Freddie's sort of like a common name that he just uses. I just think it's very arrogant of these people to say he has no right to do it. What gives them a right to say that? I mean, you know, if a boxer wanted to become a cricketer, I know maybe it's the wrong analogy, but would cricketers then turn around and say, oh, you know, this is a sport for gentlemen, you're not allowed to do that? I think there's sort of reverse snobbery here, like this idea that because cricket is a genteel, gentleman's sport, then a cricketer has no place being a boxer. I just think that's stupid. This is all about opportunity, and people should be allowed to do whatever the hell they want, so long as it's within the law, so long as they're not hurting anyone else, and so long as they're a free-thinking adult. That's my firm opinion. Basically, he checked the boxes for all of those things. He won the fight, by the way, so clearly he's not that bad. Some people would say his opponent was an unknown, but, you know, my attitude is give the guy a break. It was his first professional fight. What do you expect? Do you expect him to fight Vitaly Klitschko? Get real. So the controversy, I think, was totally unwarranted. The attention I can understand, because, you know, it is a transition from one sport to another, but the slack he got was just pathetic. And I've just watched a video. I thought it was going to be some commentary on the fight. It turned out to be a loudmouth thug, who frankly looked like a terrorist, like a terrorist from my part of the world, Northern Ireland. I'm not saying that's where he's from, I'm just saying that's how he looked. He looked like an aggressive, loudmouth thug. He calls himself MDB 1912, something like that. If you come across that video, actually, I don't mind saying here, I reported it, because what he was basically doing was issuing a threat to Freddie Flintoff. Come and fight me. I don't know who this guy thinks he is. He's clearly well built. I'm sure he can fight, but that really isn't the point. You don't go online and make threats to people like that. So whoever this guy is, he clearly belongs in jail. I mean, I can't understand the mentality of someone like that, who would be so like to actually issue a threat to a sportsman because they don't like, I don't know, it clearly doesn't like the fact that Freddie Flintoff was involved in this fight, and he said something along the lines of college boy, something like that. Very sort of clearly looks down on Freddie Flintoff. But if you come across that video, do report it, because this thug clearly shouldn't be allowed to be making videos. You know, he's just issuing threats to people. Who does he think he is? And if you're watching, you're a piece of shit. I don't care who you are. As far as I'm concerned, if you make threats to people like that online, you belong behind bars. I don't care how physically strong you are, you're a thug. You're the definition of a thug. You belong behind bars. So I really, if you come across that video, you see what I'm talking about. I just think it's unsettling that there's actually people like that out there who have such shallow lives that they have to publicly threaten a sportsman to feel good about themselves. I mean, if he disagrees with the fight, fine, that's his opinion, he can say that, but to actually issue threats like this, it's just, you know, I never issue threats without backing them up, or at least, even if I know I could take on someone, it's just not a civilized adult way to behave. So I find that quite pathetic, really. It's just titled Andrew Flintoff versus Richard Dawson. You'll see what I'm talking about. Clearly that guy's some sort of psychopath and he belongs behind bars. I don't know if the video is meant to be some sort of weird sense of humour, because it's not. But it's not funny. But you know, if that's his attitude to a sportsman, how do you think a guy like that is going to act with the people around him? Clearly he's someone the police should be investigating. So you know, if you come across that video, do report it for promoting violence. Or, you know, there's a list under YouTube you can choose from. You know, and he's saying, you know, or wasn't Freddie Flintoff fight him? I suspect because Freddie Flintoff is well aware that you can't just go around fighting with anyone that you don't like. This was a sanctioned bout. Both guys had training. It's a sanctioned fight. So my message to the thug in this video is, if you really want to fight Freddie Flintoff, then become a boxer yourself. I don't know if you are one, but, you know, organise a fight. Fight him professionally. But issuing threats online like this just makes you look like a mindless thug. You can threaten me, by the way, I couldn't care less. Because as far as I'm concerned, thugs like you are nothing but bullying cards. I don't care how physically strong you are, you're an obnoxious thug. And you look like shit, basically. It troubles me that there's people like that in society. Really, it's quite unsettling. Okay, so that's all I have to say, really. I just think that the fight itself, I really don't understand the controversy around it, because the British Boxing Board of Control wouldn't have sanctioned it if they thought there was going to be any serious injuries to Mr. Flintoff. If they thought that he really was in no state to fight, they wouldn't have sanctioned it. So, you know, that's the bottom line. And I think it's ridiculous that he got a lot of negative feedback, that, oh, you've no right to do this. What right do these people have to say that? And it's often people from the boxing world. They're coming from the point, well, he's got no experience. How do you start off getting experience? It's by having fights like this. So that I'm sure he wasn't, I didn't watch the fight in full, but I'm sure he wasn't great in that fight. I'm sure he wasn't an expert in terms of someone who's been fighting for years. But it's the sort of thing that can grow, and I think it's just very arrogant for people to say that he's no right to do that. How about someone turns around and say, you have no right to do what you're doing? This is a free country, and free-thinking adults should be allowed to do what they want within the law. So it's just stupid, in my opinion.